Coming up on Look Today, will Lake George Village officials consider housing laws for next summer? Who will benefit? Plus, Governor Cuomo's administration gives back before the holidays. And 21-year-old Bradley Moulton of Lake Luzerne was sentenced for a hate crime. It's all ahead on Look Today. Welcome everyone, I'm Jay Hood Jackson, and this is Look Today. On tonight's program, I sit down with Jonathan Newell. He's the executive director of the Hudson River Music Hall to discuss an upcoming event on New Year's Eve you don't want to miss. And we talk with Teddy Foster. She's the campaign director of the Universal Preservation Hall in Saratoga about the contributions they make to the arts. Plus, we've got your weather for the Tri-North counties. But first, these headline stories. Well, in our lead story, Lake George Village officials are looking to protect summer residents through a new local law. The proposed law would require landlords who lease housing to the summer workforce to purchase a license and keep a register of renters. Village code enforcement officers would be able to check on living conditions and act as a point of contact for residents. Now, Lake George Mayor Bob Blais says the focal point of this law is for foreign students and summer workers to find good and safe housing options. There would be mandatory signs in each building with contact information. It would also give officials more power to enforce fire and building codes. The law could improve safety and standard of living for the seasonal tenants of Lake George. The board will review the draft and a public hearing will be held before next summer. Well, changing from news to weather, it's been a cloudy Monday. Let's see how the week is shaping up. For the latest, we're going to head to our Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast. Well, back to the news. Well, in this season of giving, Governor Cuomo's administration took part in the New York State Toy, Coat, and School Supplies Drive. The collection of toys, coats, and school supplies began in December to benefit New York families in need. Drop-off locations were set up at various locations statewide, and today the donations were collected at the Tri-County United Way in Queensbury. Members of Governor Cuomo's administration attended to help distribute the gifts before the holidays. In other news, Bradley Moulton was sentenced after facing felony charges following a hate crime committed in June. Now, we reported on this back then. Moulton pleaded guilty and faced 6 months in jail with 5 years probation. In June, Bradley Moulton and Scott Bills were arrested for shooting a pellet gun and shouting homophobic slurs at 2 men who were holding hands visiting Lake Luzerne. Bills was sentenced up to 3 years in prison. Now, when given a chance in court last week, Moulton apologized for his actions.
I'm really sorry for what I've done, and I don't have no hatred towards gay people once forever. I was drunk and stupid at the moment that I did this. I just want to say I'm very sorry.
Also in the news, an update on the Code Blue shelter, which opened this past weekend due to the cold temperatures. Run by the Open Door Mission, the emergency homeless shelter is located in Glens Falls. When outside temperatures drop, they welcome anyone who does not have a place to stay. Well, last weekend, Cheryl Ann Murphy-Parent, the director of Code Blue, told us more about the space that they need for those in need.
But we've been averaging, last year we averaged around 35, 36 people a night. So far this year we've been averaging around 25, but the colder it gets, the more people we have to come in.
Well, still to come, an interview with Jonathan Newell from the Hudson River Music Hall. He's going to tell us about the New Year's Eve bash in Glens Falls at the Wood Theater that you don't want to miss. Plus, we also speak with Teddy Foster. She's from the Universal Preservation Hall in Saratoga about their work to make sure that Saratoga is an arts and cultural destination. But first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea, or join us for an interview, give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000.